Hello, welcome to NACAC College Spotlight. My name is Dylan Davies. I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions here at UMass Amherst, and I cover Long Island along with the states of Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, and Kentucky. Today, we're going to go over a lot of information from academics to the application process, but first I want to introduce you to UMass with a quick overview. We are the public flagship university of the state of Massachusetts, located in Amherst, a town with a population of just under 38,000. We are a medium-sized university with 24,000 undergraduate students, along with 6,000 some grad students. We also have a pretty diverse student body. 29% of our undergrads are students of color, 21% are first generation, and 22% are Pell eligible. In addition to this, our students have a wide variety of academic interests. Our 5 most popular majors are biology, psychology, computer science, economics, and political science. And whatever our students choose to study, the vast majority of them, 83.4% to be precise, graduate within 6 years of enrolling. Now I want to tell you a few things that make UMass unique. First and foremost of which is our academic offerings. UMass Amherst has over 100 undergraduate programs and is home to the #1 public engineering college in New England, the #1 public business program in the Northeast, and the number 31 ranked undergraduate computer science program in the nation. Many of our other programs are also nationally and globally known, including our food science department, which is #1 in the US, and our linguistics department, which is one of the best in the world. In addition to all of these programs, we offer a bachelor's degree with an individual concentration, meaning that if none of our 100+ programs fully capture your interests as a student, you can sit down with an academic advisor to design your own major. Or this is a combination of other distinct majors like music and business, or something all of your own design. If you can tell us what you want to learn, we will find a way to teach it to you here at UMass. UMass is also a Carnegie One research university, meaning it receives the most federal research funding annually of any kind of university. Professors in every one of our 10 colleges are constantly conducting research, and there are a ton of opportunities for students to get involved, whether they're a STEM major, working in one of our 32 faculty labs in our life science lab building, or partnering one-on-one in an office with individual faculty in other departments such as political science and legal studies. Another thing that really sets us apart is that we have the best food in America, and I'm not exaggerating. For the last 5 years, we've had the #1 food and dining services in the country according to the Princeton Review, and we do not plan to relinquish that title anytime soon. Our students eat better here than any other college, and we're extremely proud of that fact. Between our 4 dining halls, campus center eating options, and our Marriott test kitchen, staffed in part by our very own hospitality and tourism management majors, you can find any kind of food here you want to eat on any given day. And if you have any kind of dietary restrictions, whether it's allergy, sensitivity, or a matter of religious observance, our dining staff will work with you to make sure that you always have delicious food available to you. The third thing that really sets us apart is our career and internship placement and supports. At UMass, all 10 of our colleges have their own career and internship fairs. This means that whether you're studying art or studying engineering, you will walk into career fairs where employers are specifically looking for people with your educational background and interests. We also have our online portal, Handshake, where over 20,000 approved employers across 62 different industries post thousands of jobs and internship listings each year. This pays off a great deal for our students. At 6 months post-graduation, 85% of the class of 2019 was either employed or continuing their education. For some of our most competitive majors, such as computer science and engineering, that number jumps to over 90%. Finally, to support you as you intern, extern, or co-op, we have our beautiful Mount Ida campus located 9.5 miles from the Boston city limits. This allows our students, whether they live right next to the city or live in another state, to spend time in the greater Boston area, either a summer or semester, while pursuing internships or co-ops or simply taking classes. This also lets them continue to do so while living in the UMass community, paying UMass housing instead of Boston short-term rental rates, and eating the same delicious and nutritious UMass food that they'd be able to eat if they were on campus. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the Amherst area, which is also something that I feel makes us different than your typical school. Amherst is your quintessential college town located in Western New England, which is one of the most beautiful parts of the United States, especially in the fall when the leaves change. Amherst and the nearby town of Northampton are the centers of this area, which is called the Pioneer Valley. They have every kind of restaurant and food you could possibly imagine. So if you ever get tired of our #1 dining, you don't have to go far, along with a ton of quaint little shops, live music venues, and a few art studios as well. They are all connected both to each other and the surrounding towns by the PVTA bus system, which is free to all UMass students. The Valley is also home to 4 other colleges: Amherst, Hampshire, Mount Holyoke, and Smith, which, along with UMass, make up the 5-college consortium. Consortium allows students to enroll in up to 2 classes a semester at any of the other 4 colleges at no additional cost, and it is not uncommon to see students from the other colleges on UMass's campus or in downtown Amherst. In addition to all of that, Amherst is literally in the middle of everywhere should you ever decide to take a day or weekend trip away from campus. We are 3 hours from Manhattan, 2 hours from Boston, and an hour away from the Berkshire and Green Mountains and the inexhaustible supply of biking, hiking, and skiing trails that students can and often do explore. Now, you might notice that I haven't talked much about campus or what it's like to be a student here, and there is a reason for that. We actually have a student here today who's going to speak to you about these things and tell you about his own experience on campus. Phil?
Yeah, hi guys, my name is Phil Baird and I'm a junior here at UMass Amherst, majoring in math with a concentration in teaching. I'm from a small town of Princeton, Massachusetts with about 3,000 residents, roughly an hour away from UMass. I initially went to college at a small state school outside of Boston prior to transferring to UMass halfway through my freshman year. It wasn't a great fit for me being in the Boston suburbs, and I definitely needed more space, which I found out in Amherst. UMass is a big school with roughly 30,000 students. 24,000 of those are undergraduates, but it most certainly doesn't feel that big. The great thing about a big school is that there are so many opportunities to get involved in, so you begin to form your group of friends who share similar interests as you, and it begins to feel a lot smaller. After I transferred, I joined the club tennis team and got a job as a tour guide, which allowed me to adjust and get comfortable at a big school. One thing that I love about UMass and the Amherst area is that you get the suburban, rural, and city feel all in one. Amherst has a vibrant downtown full of shops, restaurants, and tons of college students walking around. The Pioneer Valley itself is also very rural. There are a ton of hiking and walking trails. We are right near the Connecticut and Deerfield rivers, and there are plenty of swimming holes very close to campus. The UMass Amherst campus sometimes feels like a city. There are 7 tall towers on campus that stick up and stand out in the beautiful Western Mass, and we do have a large student population, but again, it doesn't feel as big as it is. There's also such a community feel at UMass, and I think that it's most present during sporting events. At football and hockey games, families, alumni, and members of the community come out to support our Minutemen. One of my favorite things at hockey games is when I see families with younger kids wearing UMass gear, older alumni with their 1970 UMass jackets on, and of course, thousands of screaming fans in the student section, led by the great UMass Ice Band. Whenever I walk around campus, I see a bunch of familiar faces, whether they're in my class, live on my floor, or are a friend of a friend. It definitely helps make UMass seem a little smaller when you see a bunch of people that you know on a daily basis. Transferring to UMass was probably the best decision I've made in my short 20 years, and I'm so happy and proud to be able to call myself a member of the UMass family for the rest of my life. Oftentimes on tour, I get asked, what's it like taking classes at UMass? There's not really one good answer to that because there are so many different types of classes. General education classes, which are the entry-level courses you'll take, like English 101 or Biology 101, are most likely to be lecture halls with anywhere from 100 to 300 students. It sounds daunting, but it's really not that bad. All professors hold office hours during the week that are specifically designated for students to come ask questions and get extra help. There are discussion sections once a week run by a teaching assistant who reviews what you learned in lecture that week. There's no new material taught here, so it's a great time to make sure you really understand what was covered in lecture. I also found it very helpful to get to know the students in your classes. I've had many study groups and homework circles with other students in my class, which helps all of us understand the difficult topics we are learning. As you move into more major specific classes, they'll become much smaller. As I've said, I'm a math major with a concentration in teaching, so last spring I took a course called Teaching Math for Grades 5 to 12, which is exactly what I want to do. There were 11 students in the class, so it was heavily discussion-based. I got very close with the professor and other students in my class who I'd later be taking the same courses with as we continue down the same path within our major. This is very helpful because no one wants to go through college alone. So once you get to know the other students in your classes, you will have them to lean on if you are struggling or need any help along the way. It's also a great way to make new friends. I've always found my professors very open and helpful when I come to them with questions or clarifications. So it's nice to see that the people teaching you don't just want you to learn, but also to succeed. On top of your fellow classmates and professors, there is also a ton of free tutoring available within the library. These sessions are given by students who have previously taken the course and most of the time had the same professor, so they know how the classes run and what topics to really focus on. I know it sounds cliche, but there are truly so many resources available to you to make sure you succeed here at UMass.
Thank you, Phil. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the application process and the financial aid process as well. So here at UMass, we are a Common App exclusive school, and we offer 2 rounds of admission, early action and regular decision. The deadlines for these are November 5th and January 15th, respectively, and our current application fee is about $80. Should you need a fee waiver, you're able to apply right through the Common App. There's no separate form for you to fill out. You don't need to email us. You just sign it right there, and you have your guidance counselor sign off on it and send it to us. With regards to test scores, we are a test optional institution for this year and the next 2 years as well. We conduct a holistic review for our admissions process, and the choice to submit scores or not is totally up to you. What we do require is the Common App, your transcript, and at least 2 letters of recommendation, 1 from a guidance counselor and 1 from a teacher to put you in the context of your school and of your classroom. With regards to financial aid, there are different rates depending if you are an in-state or out-of-state student. In-state students pay $16,439 and out-of-state students pay $36,427. Our room and board for both is $13,938. You can see the total cost of attendance at the bottom of your slide. Now, if any of these numbers sound a little high to you, please know that 80% of our students receive financial aid of some kind, merit, need-based, or both, and the average financial aid award last year came out to about $11,000 for those receiving aid. Now, financial aid comes in a few ways here at UMass. The first of these is merit aid. Here at UMass, all students are considered for merit aid. You will hear about any merit aid awards you've received when you receive your admissions decision. If you are admitted, you'll find it at the bottom of your admissions letter. The second way is through our financial aid office. This is need-based aid. Here at UMass, the Office of Financial Aid is responsible for all federal, state, and institutional grant-related financial need, including student loans and work study. There is one application for all of these things, and it's the FAFSA, the same app that you have to send to every school you apply for financial aid at. And the deadline to submit that here is March 1st. The earliest you'll hear back for need-based aid from us is February. So if you hear merit aid and you are anxious to hear back on need-based aid, please don't sweat it. Please don't worry about when it's going to come. It'll come in February at the earliest. If you submit it at the March 1st deadline, it's going to come slightly later. Now, when financial aid office considers your application for need-based aid, the FAFSA is going to be the only thing they look at. They don't look at your academics. They don't look at your application or how much merit aid you've been given by the admissions office. They're only going to look at what you say on that application for aid. Should something change after you submit, you can contact us and we can make edits. We can listen to appeals, but they're not going to consider outside information related to things other than you and your family's financial circumstances, which is exactly how it should be with need-based aid. Now, the third way to get some aid money or get some money in your pocket once you're on campus is once you get here. You have opportunities to apply for separate donor-funded scholarships from pretty much any department you might be studying in. There's a single application for all of them, and you only need to fill it out once. It can be found at umass.academicworks.com. Academic Works is not open for students until May, after students have deposited here at UMass. In addition to that, if you are looking for work, There are about 3,000 or so students working non-work study jobs on this campus, including Phil. Before we go on and end the show, I do want to highlight a few additional resources you can use to learn more about our school. While we do not offer a fly-in program or visit grants, we do have a virtual tour to help you get to know our campus. And you can also visit virtually and attend other online events. You can find the details for both at the links on the slide. If you don't have consistent access to digital resources, you're welcome to email us your questions when you do, or request a phone call. We're happy to talk to you on the phone. If that's more convenient or comfortable for you and your family, we're happy to answer your questions in any mean or medium of communication that you may require. Now, if you are curious about our student support programs, you can go to umass.edu/student success and read about many of our student programs, including the Stonewall Center for LGBTQIA students, CMAS, the Center for Multicultural Advancement and Student Success, the Center for Women and Community, and the Men and Masculinity Center, as well as some of our faith-based groups on campus, including the Newman Catholic Center, UMass Hillel, and InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. One of the advantages of being a larger school is that we have so many students that it's very likely you can find whatever community you're a part of at home here at UMass. For other information, you can look or start your search on our website, umass.edu/admissions. And if you have any questions at all about applying to UMass or the application process in general, please feel free to reach out to me personally or to our office via email. We are more than happy to help you navigate the application process and answer any and all questions you may have along the way. Thank you very much for watching today, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And go UMass.